Welcome to the Maythorn Monthly. We've got cars and planes and boats. We've got dogs and cats and goats. We can take you there by train and then bring you back again. From mountain, land and sea, we can really set you free. So don't look so forlorn. It's the monthly from Maythorn.
Welcome to the August Maythorn Monthly. It's 200 years since the first passenger train steamed into Britain, and we will be showing you some of the history of railways in the country.
And Jess will be contributing her videos taken in Switzerland, Italy, France and elsewhere.
It's the start of a beautiful day, and we don't know what's coming our way. Going on a train journey, took a train to Milan, had a walk in the park, took a tour around the city until it got dark.
It's the start of a beautiful day. Lake Geneva is coming your way,
where the water shoots high, 500 feet in the sky, and the Euros will come into play.
That's just a taster of the 2-week trip that Jess took. There will be more of that later.
But first, let's see what Brian's up to as he takes a train trip to Darlington in County Durham.
We'll take the train,
I took the train
or ride the bus.
and I rode the bus, and it got me here to Hopetown. They took the train to Darlington from Liverpool Lime Street. Then I took a bus that was going to Durham, which dropped me at Hopetown. Hopetown is important to the Darlington area, and we're going to see why.
'twas the start of a beautiful year. In the month of September, it's clear. 1825 saw the rails come alive. Locomotion was finally here. Take a trip on a beautiful day to a place that is not far away. Let's avoid any pain. Let the train take the strain to museums you don't have to pay.
In case you're not familiar with the story yet, 200 years ago, in September 1825, the first railways began to appear in Britain, one in particular, and it all happened on the Stockton and Darlington Railway, which I am now visiting the site of. You may be able to see behind me that there's a children's playground. There's quite a lot of facilities here for children, so it is something not just for people who want to look at the railway history, but a place you can bring the kids. There's several places to get refreshments, an indoor cafe, outdoor food van. So you can actually probably spend at least half a day here, maybe the whole day. Perhaps not in this weather, it's a bit overcast today.
'Twas the start of a beautiful year. In the month of September, it's clear. 1825 saw the rails come alive. The locomotion was finally here.
When you were touring around the Hopetown Museum, the Locomotion Museum, you were greeted by what appeared to be holograms, and some of them talked to you.
Refreshment conductor, and later I became the mayor of Darlington. 4 times. I worked on the railway for 20 years, and then I decided to set up station bookshops. Jane Austen.
You get the opportunity to immerse yourself in the feeling of the railway from 200 years ago, and you will have seen these kind of faces with holes in before, where you stick your own in place and take pictures. But there's something far more sophisticated than that here in Hopetown. It's an opportunity for you to appear in a picture with the staff and the locomotives of 200 years ago. Of course, I had to have a go at this, so this is me you can see on an old station platform, and there's an old station master and there's an engine coming into the station, and I'm also encouraged to smile and wave and have my photograph taken in this scenario. Stevenson Company was actually George and his son Robert, and there are three events in railway history. The 1825 first public railway to use steam is the central one, but before that there was a locomotive Stevenson built called the Blucher, and that was in 1814 for the Killingworth Colliery, and for years the locomotives were used for hauling coal. After 1825, the next event you may have heard of was in 1829, when on the Liverpool and Manchester Railway there were the Rainhill Trials and of course Stephenson's rocket. George and Robert designed the rocket together. They won a competition and achieved a then unprecedented speed of 36 miles an hour. Locomotion number 1 is normally kept here at Hopetown in Shildon in County Durham, but because of Rail 200 it's being shifted about the country to make appearances elsewhere, and it's currently down in Derby for the greatest gathering. We'll get to see it there real soon. So that was Hopetown, and if you don't want to come in on the bus like I did, I get bus travel free, then North Road Station is the place to arrive at. It's one stop out of Darlington on a Northern Rail service. So that was Hopetown, but we got lots more railway stuff to show you between now and the end of September, because the 200-year anniversary is being celebrated all year.
'Twas the start of a beautiful year. In the month of September, it's clear. 1825 saw the rails come alive. Locomotion was finally here.
Take a trip on a beautiful day to a place that is not far away. Let's avoid any pain. Let the train take the strain to museums you don't have to pay.
It's the end of a beautiful day, till tomorrow come what may.
We may travel by bus, we may travel by car,
We may take the train to go near or far. There's train after train down in Derby, they say. People gathering there for a beautiful day. It's the ultimate beautiful day.
when a train journey takes you away.
It's smooth and it's fast. Take a trip to the past. Enjoy the onboard cafe.
It's time to go back to Switzerland and see the rest of the video Jess took on her 2-week holiday. Over to you, Brian.
I believe Jess actually started planning this holiday in July from when she first came back from Australia at the end of last year. It was based around the football matches as far as she was concerned, so she booked accommodation, flights and everything else bit by bit until she had the whole package in place, and she'd booked herself at least into the first match. Once she knew the results of each match, she was able to book another one. You can obviously do a lot more than go to football matches if you've got 2 weeks in Switzerland, and she took a number of train trips. This first one that she filmed took her from Zurich, where she was staying, down to Lionesses, where she changed on to another train down to Geneva. Jess knows that I have an interest in the railways rather than the actual trains themselves, and I like to see the way that people and goods are moved around the country and countries around the world. It's also, of course, interesting to see what actual rolling stock they use to do it, but that isn't my main interest. So, of course, this is a train trip of quite a few hours, and you're only going to see a couple of minutes of it, but the minutes that I'm showing you are things like the sidings, where you can see a lot of the bits and pieces of the railway parked up and get an idea of how some of it fits together. And of course, she also knows that from all the scenery she passes through, I'm most interested in water. I do love lakes and rivers and being by the sea. Switzerland does quite well for lakes. So eventually she got to Geneva and went for a walk around, and also took some aerial views, and she didn't even need to have a drone. Jess took one of my DJI Pocket 2 cameras to film this, and I think you'll agree that she's really got the hang of handling this little camera.
Took a train to Milan, had a walk in the park, took a tour around the city until it got dark.
Jess discovered that you can get a train from Zurich into France or Switzerland or Italy. Well, she chose Italy, and she did take a walk in the park. This one is called Sempione Park.
try on me, I say, yeah. No woman will cry, yeah. No woman will cry. Yeah, little brother, don't shed no tears. So no woman will cry. Said I remember when we used to sing in the government yard like country sound. You remember? And they Georgie would make the fire line, and it was loud it burning through the night. Then we would cook corned porridge, of which I share with you. Yeah, yeah. My feet is my only carriage, so I've got to push on through. But I gonna everything is gonna be alright. 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 Said everything is gonna be alright. So no woman no cry. So no woman no cry. Oh my little sister, don't shed no tears. So no woman no cry. No woman no cry. Oh my little brothers, don't shed no tears. So no woman no cry. Thank you.
It's the start of a beautiful week, with events that are truly unique. In Switzerland with Jess and the odd lioness, and an outcome so fantastic.
It's currently raining in Switzerland. I'm in Basel right now because I've got the football game later on, but thought I'd just come and show you guys that. So I'm in Switzerland, and then across the River Rhine is France, and then north is Germany. Museum about Brazil. It is currently closed at the moment.
It's the start of a beautiful week, with events that are truly unique. In Switzerland with Jess and the odd lioness, and an outcome so fantastic.
So as we say goodbye to the month of July, football history was written today. We never report on that kind of sport, but rules can be broken, they say.
Well, if you know me, you'll understand that I can't tell you anything about football. It's completely off my radar. But I have to say that this young girl is so energetic, and it makes me wonder if I could have done this when I was her age. And then I remembered how I was in the gym at school, and no, I definitely couldn't have done any of this. As you can probably tell, the atmosphere is building during the day for a match. Jess was there. She had the camera inside the ground as well, and really I don't do football in my videos, but you'll get a glimpse anyway. I did once go to a football stadium. I was working for a radio station at the time, and my ears were quite pressurised with the level of sound there. And I must admit, if I'm going to be subjected to that amount of noise, I would rather it came from a rock band. But there we are, each to their own. Anyway, moving on, and a train trip to a place called Zug. Seemed an unlikely place. I looked it up on the map. It does exist. And the Zug Magic Show, which you're about to see a couple of snippets from, it's mainly described in German when I've gone looking for it on the web. But the translation basically says this is a multimedia show to immerse yourself in a multimedia extravaganza of light, video and image projections. That translation didn't actually mention the music. There is music to it too, a lot of which of course was copyright, so that's why you're only seeing a few snippets from this. For those who've never been to Switzerland, and I'm one of them, you may wonder what the weather's like. Well, perhaps the weather up this mountain isn't typical of what you might see, but judging by the other pictures we've seen, and Jess did say it was raining a few times while she was there, it's very much like Britain. And as it's time to go home for Jess to fly back and watch the final in a pub on the big screen, we take a final look round Zurich, where she was staying, and what a tremendous holiday she's had. And she's been absolutely ecstatic about the football, which is a feeling, as you know, I can't particularly share. But you don't have to be a football supporter to see how great the Lionesses were, and everything they achieved was absolutely fantastic, and the homecoming back in front of Buckingham Palace was brilliant. They did us proud.
It's the end of a beautiful day, till tomorrow come what may.
We may travel by bus, we may travel by car,
We may take the train to go near or far.
So There's a lot of talk about Stockton and Darlington because that's where all this began 200 years ago. But there's other places in Britain that are important to the railway industry, and we're in Derby and we've come to the Alstom factory because there's a huge exhibition here today and more trains than you've ever seen. So we're going to take you around there. And if you prefer buses, well, there's vintage buses running from the town centre to bring you out here. We can show you those too if you like.
Twas the start of a beautiful year. In the month of September it's clear, 1825 saw the rails come alive. Locomotion was finally here.
About 40,000 people attended Alstom's Derby Lit Church Lane works over the period of 3 days, and so the queuing was pretty intense. From the queuing area you could see a few diesels, and through the fence you could see a bit of steam traction, and later on we got to look at those in more detail. The Climate Hero, belonging to DB Cargo UK, is a Class 66 that was converted to hydrogenated vegetable oil, or HVO, in 2021. The first area you get to when you arrive is called Freight Focus, so you are seeing vehicles that are used for hauling freight around the country. There are thousands of people here with us today, but it's a 90-acre site, so mostly we're all spread out and you don't see too many crowds.
Train after train down in Derby, they say, people gathering there for a beautiful day.
From time to time, the noise levels on site got to be quite high because as one person blows their own trumpet, so do all the others. On the day that we were there, it was extremely hot and it was good to find places to go and cool off. One such train was this full-length 11-coach Avanti West Coast train, which was connected to power in some way because it had the air conditioning switched on. At one point on our walk around, we passed the people who were still queuing to come in, and this was about an hour and a half after we'd made our entry. Apparently we were a day too late for the Jeremy Vine show. We'd missed that on the Friday, the first day of the event, and so we had to make do with going to visit Lady Penelope. Actually, she wasn't there either. We're looking at a train here, but actually it's the coupling that's of interest, and my friend Alan, who was with me, told me of all the different types of couplings there are. This is a Transport for Wales metro train. We're up in the north end of Wales and we don't see these, they're actually in service down south. We found some facilities, so it's time for our first coffee break.
1825 saw the rails come alive. Locomotion was finally here.
We're going to spend a little time in some of the sheds now, and the spacing between the trains affects the type of photographs that you can take. They tend to be long and angular. There are one or two spots where you can get a good photograph. This is actually also true of the outside train lines because they're all stacked alongside each other in the yards and you have to walk between them. I probably don't need to tell you that the 200-year anniversary is all about the history since this first locomotive appeared. This is a replica of locomotion number 1, which made its way down to Derby for this event. We also hope to catch it later in the year back up on the Stockton and Darlington Railway. Also in the sheds is the Merseyrail Class 5071 from the 70s, and the reason why I am here today. And before we go any further, I think we could do with a drum roll, or something like that. I've never sat in the cab of a 507 before, so this was a first for me. Some familiar railway noises now. This is the Class 507's camshaft simulator. You get to see how it all works.
Apparently that was one of the oldest trains in service when it was actually retired last year. In its heyday though, it even carried the late Queen. But now the train, rail buffs will know it as a Class 507, as you can see, it's been given a new lease of life in Derby after enthusiasts bought it for just £1.
During its lifetime, this 3-carriage electric unit covered 3 million miles, the equivalent of the moon and back 6 times. Trains like the Flying Scotsman get a lot of love and attention, but some would question the appeal of a more mundane offering like this, which spent its life carrying commuters around Merseyside. Enthusiasts say they know exactly which seat was used by the late Queen during her ride in 1978.
You don't expect the Queen just to be on an ordinary train, do you? Not that it's ordinary, sorry I didn't say that.
Oh, she was good, wasn't she? Here's another familiar noise from these old trains. Do you know what it is?
Do you know what this noise is called? Yeah, it is it's an air system, but it's called the Spirax valve. Now, if you ever wonder what the noise is on these and other trains, that's exactly what it is. It's just keeping the air.
Well, I learned something new today. That was a Spirax valve. I heard that train ticking away so many times over the years. It's not just the past, it's the future that's reflected in this exhibition today. And the Hydroflex project began in 2018. This is a Class 319 train. It was converted to run on hydrogen and battery power, so it's a hybrid, do we call that? This shed caught my eye. It's a whole shed full of model railway stuff, including treble O, double O and O gauge, and the G gauge for Garden Railways. It was all here, including a layout from Pete Waterman. Pete was hosting a lunch the day we were there. We didn't know about it in advance, so we couldn't book on that. But we saw his layout here, and we also know that he's got a layout running at the moment in Chester Cathedral. It's time to take the weight off our feet and sit down and have a little snack before we continue around the site. The Class 93 is a tri-mode locomotive, and the modes are 25 kV AC electric, 900 kilowatt stage 5 diesel engine, or lithium titanate oxide batteries. The LCO battery is rated at 400 kilowatts. Having spent a lot of time on heritage railways looking at old trains, it was fascinating to come to a factory and see something brand new and shiny and clean and unused. Had to take pictures of that. Moving on to train rides, a number of trains were available for the visitors to travel on today. This is one of the ones I saw going up and down all the time, and of course there's no platforms here, it's a factory, so they had various ways of getting on and off the trains, from ramps to steps to even a little bridge. A supply of good quality coal. That's something that all these heritage railways with their steam engines depend on and can't always get, which is why you see so many diesels taking over the roles. It costs quite a lot of money to keep these railways going, and it's helped by enthusiasts and of course by you riding on their trains.
You can come on the footplate for free, ladies. You don't have to pay, but if you want to keep the whistle, it's fine.
Here's another train you can travel on, and I've been to the Festenio Railway and travelled on it there, but today they brought it to us in Derby. Now here's a long queue of people, but it's for a pretty long train, and this was my second chance to get into an air-conditioned compartment. I joined on the back of this queue and still got on the train. It's an Elizabeth line train that they're testing on the test track here at Alstom. And apart from keeping me cool, the one thing it does do is take you all along the edge of the site so you can see just how big it all is and how much is actually there.
Take a trip on a beautiful day to a place that is not far away. Let's avoid any pain. Let the train take the strain to museums you don't have to pay.
It's the end of a beautiful day till tomorrow come what may.
We may travel by bus, we may travel by car,
We may take the train to go near or far. There's train after train down in Derby, they say. People gathering there for a beautiful day. It's the ultimate beautiful day.
When a train journey takes you away,
It's smooth and it's fast. Take a trip to the past. Enjoy the onboard cafe. I just fancy a sausage. And that's the end of our beautiful day in Derby as we head out and queue up for the vintage bus to take us back into the town centre.
Hi, I am a computer-generated actor sent by Brian to introduce this segment. For the next 60 seconds, all the images, video and music you see and hear has been created by a range of AI platforms. Brian is waiting at his house in Wallasey to explore this subject a little more. He will be here in 1 minute and 12 seconds exactly.
Over mountain, land and sea, our videos set you free. So don't look so forlorn, it's the magic from Maythorn. We'll take the train or ride the bus, it's just another day when we let the music play. Maythorn video hits the screen on YouTube every week, with Brian and his trusty team and music that's unique. With robots at the ready to start the show today. So let's just hit the button and let the music play. From land and sea and sky, our cameras capture scenes with the help of some AI, blue skies and grass so green. So let the music play in the Maythorn magic way. Just give us a little time and we'll make these lyrics rhyme. So that was a montage of AI that I've used to get music and to get images and video. And my own Cyberlink Power Director software that I edit videos on allows me to create images like this forlorn girl. That's a forlorn look apparently. And I got that in Power Director. And then I went to HeyGen, which is a video creation software, and it's online. And I gave it that photograph and said, animate it, make it into a video. And I was absolutely astonished at how well it did that, because it made the girl's head move, her hair blew in the wind, everything about her suddenly became animated, and all created from that still picture that was generated by an AI in the first place, a non-real person brought to life.
Hello everyone, I was an image created in Brian's video editing software called Power Director. I am now in HeyGen, where my still image can be converted to video and make me speak to you.
If you were watching right to the end of last month's Maythorn Monthly, you will have seen that my house in Wallasey, the shared house, is empty at the moment because of an unfortunate tenant who drove the other two out. So I'm using the house to work in, using it as a bit of a studio at the moment, while we are advertising for new tenants. In fact, let me just reach over. I've been printing some leaflets to hand out, and I've been promised that they'll go up in the local hospital by a guy that we know who works there. Anyway, this is the equipment I'm currently using today. This is the Suno website, and that screen is a list of my library of stuff I've created. I can download it from there and use it as I like. I can work with it on here, remove separate tracks, take the vocals off, all sorts of stuff like that I've mentioned before. And this is some new video editing software that I've been using for the last month or so. It's been pushed at me by an amazing amount of advertising for the last few years. I decided to try it. It's got better than the first time I tried it a few years ago. This is Wondershare's package called Filmora. and it's very similar to use to the Power Director I've been using. It's got a few features missing, but basically it'll do the same thing. The point is, it actually renders the end product so much faster, like 10 times faster than the Cyberlink Power Director, which has been slowing down with every new release. It's not something that regular TV programs do, and if you watch Homes Under the Hammer, it's been on for a couple of decades, is it now nearly? And it's had the same signature tune and the same opening titles the whole of that time. They've never altered them once. They are very good, and the creation was wonderful, but they don't change them. Me, I've got a fiddle. I'm a fiddler. I change banks every now and then. When I say every now and then, I mean every few months. I like to try new technologies, and I also like to write new lyrics. So my main theme of travel and bus and car and train, it gets altered every month for the places we're going to. So you'll have noticed that the lyrics referred to Bulgaria, they referred to Switzerland when Jess was there, and they're now referring to trains, as that's the current focus.
It's the ultimate beautiful day when a train journey takes you away. It's smooth and it's fast. Take a trip to the past. Enjoy the onboard cafe.
As you probably gather, I write lyrics, very simple lyrics, and it dates back to the 70s when I was on the radio, and I used to do local limerick competitions, and to demonstrate I used to write little 5-line ditties, and it was quite fun. So I've been doing that again recently with Suno, in that they'll generate music for me and sing the lyrics that I write. I choose the genres of music. There's a lot to choose from, and I've stuck to only half a dozen perhaps in the whole time I've been using them. The range, and this is a disc that rotates, which I've stopped so I can read it, is huge. Thousands of different genres of music, and I'll give you an example. We have Delta Blues House, Hindi Bubblegum Dance, Mandarin House, move down a bit here. We've got Griot Reggae, Egyptian, Dreamy Dembo, Dark Alt Pop, Acoustic Acid Rock, Mandarin Disco. So let's take some of my standard lyrics that I use for jingles, the whole thing about going by car, by train, by bus, and travelling to mountain, land and sea. Let's use some of those kind of lyrics. So I'm going to put my finger on one of these styles, and I'm not going to look at the screen. So here we go. And my finger has landed on Mandarin Hawaiian. I wonder what that sounds like. Let's put the lyrics into Mandarin Hawaiian.
So don't look so forlorn, it's the magic from Maythorn. We'll take the train or ride the bus, it's just another day when we let the music play.
We'll take the train or ride the bus, it's just another day when we let the music play. Maythorn Video hits the screen on YouTube every week with Brian and his trusty team, and music
Now, I want to stress that I'm letting the AI do the bits that I can't do. You can actually tell it to create a video from start to finish for you, and it will do it. I haven't tried that out or anything, so I don't know how good it is. But that's my hobby, and that's what I want to do. So I'm using AI to add the bits that I can't, and that would include getting images that are not easy for me to go out with my camera and film, and bringing them in, and also adding background music of the right tempo and pace and feeling, and also singing those lyrics that you've already heard. Now, if you've been watching for the last few months, you will have heard songs that I didn't write, that were written by the AI, because I didn't know enough about the subject. And months ago it was Malta. Didn't know much about Malta, let AI loose on it, and it knew more than I did. And I'm going to show you another video. I've made the video. It's at Hoylake on the Wirral, and there's a bit of the promenade which we call Waders Walk. The sort of wildlife along there, the wading birds and so on that appear, are a mystery to me. I'm in the RSPB, but only to support them. I don't know enough about birds to be able to tell you about wading birds. So there's artwork all along the promenade there, which has been done by local people. It's worth a look, so I filmed it. And I asked the AI to make me a song, and all I told it was there are wading birds and we're on the estuary, the Dee estuary, and make a song about wading birds on the Dee estuary. And this is what it came up with.
Down by the shore where the tide meets the land, the wading birds gather, a wandering band. With feathers like whispers they dance on the sand, tracing the edge where the waters expand. The curlew calls out with a note sharp and clear, its echo a story for those who will hear. The sandpipers scatter their rhythm sincere, the river Dee's secrets they hold ever near. Oh, wading birds on the Dee's wide embrace, gliding through twilight, a slow-moving grace. The estuary hums with their ancient refrain, a song of the tide and the soft falling rain. The lapwings rise where the marsh grasses sway, their wings paint the dusk in a fleeting ballet. The oyster catchers laugh at the close of the day, in the quiet of evening they drift far away. The mud flats are glistening, kissed by the moon, the ebb and the flow hum an old lonesome tune. These birds write the verses with each fleeting swoon, a poem of freedom, their gift and their boon. Oh, wading birds on the Dee's wide embrace, gliding through twilight, a slow-moving grace. The estuary hums with their ancient refrain,